Greetings, peace be with you. This is Andrew Schaeffer, Director of Music at Lutheran Memorial Church in Madison, Wisconsin, here with this week's edition of Hymns of Hope. This week, I'm going to be exploring a hymn that no doubt many of you have probably sung, maybe not so much here at Lutheran Memorial, but you've sung it at funerals, perhaps, and if you've gone to churches of other denominations that may be very well in their canon. I'm speaking, of course, of I Love to Tell the Story. It is in our hymnals. You can find it in the red Evangelical Lutheran Worship at number 661, or if you have the green Lutheran Book of Worship, you can find it at number 390. This particular text was written by a woman named Arabella Catherine Hankey. And she was born in the Clapham neighborhood of South London in 1834. At the time, this neighborhood was really a hotspot for the abolitionist movement. And in fact, it was home to the great abolitionist, William Wilberforce. In addition to his work regarding slavery, he was a fierce defender of childhood education, of prison reform, and increased Christian missionaries abroad. Kate and her father became very much engaged in this line of work, and especially his religious work. She would teach Sunday school and teach Bible studies in the prisons. And later, when her brother became sick in Africa, she went to go fetch him and bring him back to England. And she then became really familiar with missionary work and had a great desire to carry that out for the rest of her life. Well, in 1856, Kate herself became ill, and the doctors came to the conclusion that she should spend an entire year resting in bed, which sounds oddly familiar to many of us as we live in this pandemic. At least you can get out of bed, though. I hope most of you watching can get out of bed. This obviously curtailed many of her activities, and so she took to writing and reading a lot of poetry. And she wrote a 100-stanza poem. Again, I was saying she was in bed for a year. A 100-stanza poem called The Old, Old Story. The following year, at the International Convention of the Young Men's Christian Association, you may know it as the YMCA, Major General Russell, a leader in that organization, ended his powerful sermon by quoting her poem. It left the audience speechless, and as the report of the day said, breathless. Songwriter William Doane was in the congregation that day and was inspired to put this poem to music, which in turn gave birth to this wonderful hymn. The setting you're going to hear today is by living American composer Emma Lou Diemer. She's currently based in California, a graduate of the Yale School of Music, and quite a prolific writer of church music, particularly choral music and organ music. It's a very sweet, simple, yet delightful setting of this beloved hymn, and I hope, as always, that you enjoy it.